Welcome to this ISPS-US webinar, and I'd like to welcome our presenters, Gogo and Emma. So I'm first going to introduce Gogo, who's going to share. So Gogo Akaya is an ancestral medicine healer connected to the traditions of Southern Africa, Isangoma practices. Her experiences with mental health crisis profoundly shifted into a beautiful journey of growth and initiations that eventually led her to supporting others with spiritual ascension symptoms. So she's an author and a mentor with a global practice rooted in the concepts of Ubuntu. Gogo is a founding partner of the Psychosis Foundation, I might not have said that right, where she teaches African shamanism. Some of you may have seen her featured in the film Crazy Wise, or you might have seen her presentation at the 2017 ISPS-US conference, which has easily been our most popular ever ISPS-US video on YouTube, because it has about 70,000 views. That indicates a wide interest in what she has to say. So, but without further ado, Gogo, let's turn it over to you and see what you have to say today.
Thank you. Good morning here in Southern California. And good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am grateful to be here again as a part of the ISPS-US panelist discussion on this very important topic, working through psychosis in extreme states and alternative to suppression. And I just want to first begin to talk a little bit about who I am and the work that I do now. So part of my work is definitely to help counsel people, help people to navigate people through rites of passages, through initiations, through healing journeys, through a spiritual lens of ancestral healing, ancestral work. And the tradition that I began from is a tradition out of South Africa, which is the Bangoma tradition, or Ngoma, which are the shamanic healers from South Africa that are connected to earth medicines, earth-based medicine, who are connected through mediumship. We are connected through our ancestors, the memory of our ancestral guardians that help us to, that we have this ability and function to tap into divine communication with the ancestors of the mountains, the ancestors of the trees, the ancestors of the earth, the ancestors of the sacred waters, the ancestors of the wind, the ancestors of the sun, of the fire. And this energy or ability to cross over into other worlds, into other dimensions and other spaces helps us to pick up information and bring it into physical form, whether it be the communication with the plants, the communication with the elements, and help bring and carry a medicine forward for those that we serve. And this is an old, ancient ancestral wisdom that's been passed down from generation to generation to generation. I was born here in the United States and didn't know anything about African spirituality or African shamanism, let alone anything that was alternative in terms of the expression of labels and diagnoses that are experienced from Western medicine, which was depression, which was borderline personality disorder, and others. And there was no awareness or invitation of what else these experiences could possibly be, and also hearing voices as well. And so when I learned about African traditional healing, I learned that there's these ancestral guardians that I carry with me, that have been passed down from generation to generation, this wisdom that I was able to also access. And so I went through initiations, initiation to become a Sangoma, and then thereafter, other initiations that helped to continue me on this rites of passage through the medicine work, through continued healing and continued learning and growth. And so the Sangoma also has, there's another umbrella under the Ngoma tradition, which is the medicine person or the Inyanga. And Sangomas can also be Inyangas, or we have the ability to communicate with the plant medicines. And so I have been moving into this energy in the space of also working with the plant medicines as well. And the Inyangas, Inyanga in Zulu actually means the moon. And so we are relating the energy of the plant medicine along with the cycles of the moon to be able to understand the cycles and the patterns of life and how to access wisdom and healing from those cycles and phases of our life. So now I work a lot with helping people through those different phases of their life that may have been missed or forgotten. And those are rites of passages and initiations, which I'll talk a little bit about as we go along. So as I said, my journey was, for a long time, I suffered a lot through depression. I suffered a lot through self-harm. I suffered a lot through just not knowing who I was, not having a purpose, not being grounded. And then through that, there's like this gateway that opened up, and I began to see visions and have experiences of energies and ancestors that were around me, and tactile sensations, or all of these things that I did not know how to comprehend it and where to put this, other than go to the hospital and seek help and get medication. And those things were a part of help saving my life in terms of having a place to go and being safe in some of those spaces. And at other times, it didn't feel safe at all. And it didn't feel, I wasn't connected to the medications. And so eventually I came across a Sangoma who was practicing here in the United States, and who is my Baba, or my teacher, my Gobella. And she was able to help me to see that I wasn't just a sick person, that I actually had these gifts, and these gifts were connected to an ancestral path, an ancestral tradition that helped me in those medicine works, and that initiation helped me to navigate and kind of understand where it makes sense of what was happening with me outside of just the Western medicine. And so what I like to call, what psychosis is really ascension madness, or the upgrade that happens when our spirit, we talk about mind, body, and spirit, but mind, body, and spirit is ready for an upgrade. And when that request for growth and that request for change is being alerted within our system, our physical system, our spiritual system, our mind, our brains, then this can create chaos, because what it is an alert system that's going off, that may be going off gently at first. And then over time, it begins to increase and increase and increase until it's a serious matter. And then it turns into quote unquote madness or psychosis. And Ascension madness comes when there is a long occurring disharmony with the self, a disharmony with nature, a disharmony with spirit. And the alert system is constantly being activated, which can become overwhelming, which for me, again, it was tactile sensations, it was hearing voices, it was having ultra sensitivities and awarenesses that just wasn't making a lot of sense and was like really, really frightening and scary. And so the indigenous traditions have long understood that there is earth-based medicine in the form of ritual, in the form of ceremony, in the form of earth medicines or herbs. And a combination of these things can help walk us through the fire of change, the transformative energy of upgrading from one state of being, a very uncomfortable state of being, a state of being where it may feel like I am no longer in need of the things that are coming up for me, and something needs to shed, something needs to be let go of. I need to change because I can't be in this body here the way that I've been for the last 20 or 30 years or 40 years, right? And so when this opportunity for growth happens, and I call Ascension Madness an opportunity for growth because it really is. And it was about me changing my perspective of just being one that was going to live with these illnesses for the rest of my life, to a understanding that I had medicine within my DNA, a memory within my DNA that could be activated in order to remember the ways of healing, of self-healing and communal healing as well. We talk a little bit about Ubuntu, and Ubuntu is the practice of community, of oneness, of each person in the community being a vital aspect of the greater humanity, that every person is important, every person is needed. And so when we look through the lens of Ubuntu, we're able to see ourselves as each other and lift each other up and help each other through ways of communal practice, ways of moving from individualism into the space of community and oneness. And so Ascension Madness is also, even though we may go through periods of isolation, we may go through periods of loneliness or hiding, Ascension Madness to me helps us to open up to the greater possibilities of connection, of oneness, of the medicine that's within the energy of community. And so there are a few things in my own healing process, I'm just keeping track of the time here, and in my own practice that I just want to kind of pinpoint today that really helped me on the journey, but also this is how I support people now. And those three things are dream work, dream tracking, dream work, ritual and ceremony, and then also earth-based medicines or herbs. And so I'll start with dream tracking. Dreaming and tracking your dreams in African spirituality, we're always looking, we actually have a song that helps us to support, helps us to wake up and remember our dreams. And the energy of the song is about wake up, wake up, wake up, share your dream. Share your dream with the community, share your dream with the family, because inside of that is a message. What did you bring back from the ancestral realm? What did the ancestors show you? What was spoken in your dreams? And so there's also another saying that when we are not remembering our dreams, then there is something that is off or just off balance, or needs to come back into harmony so that we can remember the importance of our dream space. And so whether you're forgetting dreams because you're overworked and you have high levels of stress, or that part of the brain is blocking out the dream space because you're going into really deep spaces. But we all have the ability to remember our dreams, or wake up and remember. And there are indigenous medicines in the Sangoma tradition that help support us to gently ease back into remembering our dream space. And then being held, one of the things that in my initiation processes have been about sharing the dream, but also having someone to wake up in the morning with me, or read a text message in the afternoon about what that dream was, what it meant. And then I became the best interpreter of my dream. I didn't have to go here and there to find out these interpretations. After sitting in community for a while and understanding, oh, this is how my soul is responding. This is how my spirit is responding. This is how my mind is responding. And there's medicine within the dream space. And so indigenously, we've known for eons that the medicine is also in the dream space in terms of our own healing. It has the ability to reveal what is hidden, to find our philo. There's a practice in the Ngoma tradition. It's like finding what is hidden in philo, is finding what is missing in terms of your own healing. What is the root cause of something, and what's the remedy? And finding the virus, or the spiritual virus, that has plagued our own birthright, that helps us to uncover the veil that we've either hidden from ourselves, or society has been helpful with that, in understanding what our birth story is, why we came into this life. And then also being open to challenging the stories that I've created, that I've become attached to, and being able to face those truths within the dream space. Not only within the dream space, but then bringing the medicine from the dream space into the physical form, into the reality of your day. And so we do a lot of tracking. So we go from maybe this point at the beginning of starting with dreams, and we intentionally work for whether it be months or longer to begin to understand the trajectory and the story that the soul, the spirit, is expressing through the dream space. And the other part of the healing that really was helpful for me was the imuti. Imuti are the herbs, the sacred herbs and the plant medicines. And they are really things that help us to undergo these initiations. We initiate to these plant spirits, the spirits of the trees, the roots of the plants. We initiate back to them so that we remember how to earth ourselves and create a grounding cord for what is wanting to exist and shift within our body, within our mind, and within our spirit.